All right, here we go. It is September 24th, 2023 for our Sunday post-game OU Cincinnati recap. I'm joined tonight by the awesome man, myth, legend, Swiggy himself. Swiggy, how are you doing tonight, buddy? How's the weekend gone? What's all been hanging since we talked last Wednesday?
Well, I am doing really great. Browns won today, meaning I don't have to hear the whiniest fan base on Twitter complain for a week. So, major victory for me.
Hey, that's a major one. Mine was very much up and down because first off, happy autumn to everybody as well. We are officially in I think the second or third day of fall, which I will not judge anybody now for wanting to go get their pumpkin spice. I do judge people before about till about the first after the first weekend of college football, sure. Afterwards, yeah, I judge people prior to that. But it was an up and down, Swiggy, because, on Friday, they released the Master Morpher. Yes, I'm going to pick up a Master Morpher, and it's going to proudly go next to my other Jason David Frank stuff on
Nice.
my bookshelf. Very happy, too, that the price was only $65. And the better part with it, they are donating half the proceeds, I believe, for each one to mental health. So it's the
Nice.
JED Foundation. So great foundation for everybody to donate to. Big thing for mental health. And then I had a sad, Swiggy. I had a sad because I had my very first character in D&D get killed. Now,
Mhm.
her
Uh-huh.
journey is not done
Mhm.
yet, though. We are not at the permadeath stage yet. So it
Ooh.
was an assassination attempt, and as a thank you, they're going to revive characters for it. But there's going to be a point where that's not going to be able to happen. So she got one away, but damn freaking monks. A monk came up to me, and the one time I don't use my armor, that's basically a counter to it. I got wrecked for like 100 damage. It
I
sucked.
mean, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, which that's just Dungeons and Dragons. I played for 3 hours, and then I was slain by an elf.
Yep, that sounds about right. So, Swiggy, let's jump right in. So, yesterday, OU goes up to Cincinnati for the first stop in their pit stop for their
Mhm.
farewell tour in the Big 12. And he graced us with his presence, Mr. Yormack himself, just to see us lose, which we didn't. That did not go according to plan,
No.
as OU beat Cincinnati in a kind of a bit of a defensive struggle.
Yeah.
As they beat them 22-6. What is your initial thoughts going from that game?
Well, my initial thoughts were, look, you can insert, yeah, but they're only whoever. If you're holding teams in college football to single digits, I don't care who you are. I don't care what's happening. That's a good defense. We saw, look, we saw it. Look, we saw it yesterday. Iowa State, a week ago. Ohio held in the single digits, looked pretty bad, and then they score 34 in Oklahoma State this weekend. So I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying at this point. This 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 defense, maybe it doesn't stay real. Maybe people start to figure stuff out and they turn into a pumpkin. But this is the most legitimate our defense has felt in way over a decade. So I think they're
Mm-hmm.
so starting with what was good, I was very happy. I was very happy with that. What was bad? I mean, Dylan's Dylan. I know you. If you listen to this, I know I sound like a. I sound like I'm just repeating myself every week. But Dylan is who Dylan is. He has. He comes with massive. He comes with downsides. He comes with upsides. And you kind of saw it. You kind of saw it against Cincinnati, where those downsides show themselves a little bit more than they did again than they did against Tulsa.
So, my initial thoughts, following up from yours, is
Hmm.
I'm not bought into the defense just yet.
Hmm.
I'm happy that they are doing fantastic. I'm not going to say that they're not leaps and bounds above, and people are probably already going, well, click, not watching this live stream. But I want to see them against real opponent. Yes, Cincinnati's a real opponent, and
Cincinnati,
I'm going to say they're going to be very middle of the ground.
Cincinnati's a real opponent. SMU's a real opponent. I know what you're saying, but in, but it's college football. Even though I mean, You know, I mean, we said a lot about Clemson, how their offense looks bad, and they put they should have beat Florida State yesterday or on set yesterday. It's just college football is just weird like that. I'm not saying that they're like the greatest defense ever, that they're like championship caliber, but the
Yeah,
very least, but the very least, this defense, barring injuries and barring other stuff that can come out, because you never, it's a long season, you never know. This isn't. They feel very much like a legitimate defense. Like maybe
I'll,
maybe someone will figure them out and we'll have a rough game, but I don't think we're going to be giving up 28 points to Arizona State.
correct. I'm satisfied. Does that make sense for
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
They're
No,
not the problem is I'm not going to say they're elite, but they're good when you look at the rest of college football who are
oh yeah,
struggling on defense.
definitely.
But I'm satisfied with the performances that they have put forth so far,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great way to have a good middle ground of I need to see a more body of work. Show me what you do against Texas in a big game versus that. Now they went in and took care of business in a hostile environment. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
But I need more. I need a couple more games before I have a true opinion on it. But for the most part, yes, I'm happy with what the defense did yesterday, because let's be honest, if this was last year, we would have lost that game.
100%, yeah, because Cincinnati would have been able to put up at least 24 points on us last year. So, I mean, a lot of things look good. The fact is that we're not, and this goes back to Tulsa, where we weren't just giving up stuff in garbage time to give stuff up.
Correct.
Now, normally I don't care too much about garbage time too much, especially when you're like a more middle of the road defense. That's gonna happen. I don't care. I'm never someone who cares that much about garbage time. Like if you're up 60-7 and they get a last second touchdown, I don't care about that. But
Gotcha.
but the fact that there seems to be pride on defense, we're playing well. I mean, it's not like Emory Jones is some fresh quarterback. So
no, and it's what I mentioned in my preview vid was if OU plays to the advantage, because the only way Cincinnati was going to score is if they could run the ball, and if the play basically extended itself long enough to break down so Emory could use his legs. That was the only advantage Cincinnati had against OU. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely believe that player that did not get to play for Cincinnati, one of their linemen or defensive linemen, because of breaking team rules, I absolutely do think that had an impact on their team, because you lose one of your main guys, that there's going to be some holes opening up, sure.
Oh but it's football. Football. It's next man up. Now there are some guys you can't replace. Like like you can't
like their guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, like you can't replace Caleb. You can't replace Ewers. There are certain guys on those great Georgia defenses who, if they're gone, that's such a big hole that it's hard to do. It's hard to do, but that's just football. It's next man up. You have to do your best, and and at some point, everyone deals with issues. At some point, we did what we had to do, and I would have definitely liked. I would have liked one more touchdown. And I would feel a lot better had we gotten one more touchdown. But I'm feeling okay. Nothing about that game really surprised me, because we know who Dylan is. We know some of the limitations, and we also know that sometimes, maybe run the ball some more. That's just my opinion.
So let's kind of delve into that a little bit, because I feel justified, and of all my criticisms of Dylan were very apparent in this game. Again, I put this out here. I have nothing against him. He's not Jackson Arnold. It's not fair to put him on that pedestal. But I've been searching for a year and a half to figure out what Dylan is, because I'm like, well, I say he's a 3-star, and he is. He beats the scrub
He's
teams,
not above.
but
He's
he
not above.
struggles.
He's an above
And
average quarterback.
Well, I finally found the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
He is a system quarterback. He comes
Yeah.
in, he runs the offense how you exactly tell him. But the moment it breaks down or he has to do an audible, he looks absolutely lost. And that's what you get with him. If it
Yeah.
goes according to plan, it's fine. The moment it doesn't, he struggles. And I said it last year, and I feel absolutely justified when I can point to yesterday, because 2 weeks ago people got on to me saying, when I was at the SMU game, saying he's not throwing to the wide open people in the backfield, guys. He is struggling up there. No, that was just SMU stuff. That happened a whole lot yesterday, and I feel absolutely ready to say, I told y'all so.
No, that happened
that he is missing guys in the field. He's not seeing them.
No, I mean that happened last year with Dylan too. Dylan, I mean, being a really good quarterback requires great field vision. Some guys have it, and some guys they're going to look at their guy and they're not going to be able to read the defense or read the field how you want them to. And that's
Correct.
where Dylan
because he doesn't have situational awareness.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I wouldn't call it situational awareness. I call it more. I call it more. I mean, this is hard. It's more he. It's more he has issues. It's more he has issues reading the defenses and being able to go through all of his receivers and find the guy.
But that's part of being that situational awareness, because he telegraphs plays of when the play breaks down. He shows where he's trying to get his to what receiver to he's telegraphing. He reads.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that situational awareness, but yeah, you're right about telegraphing. He does telegraph too much, and that's
absolutely.
I mean, and that's just where he is. I mean, there's a reason why he went to Central Florida, and there's a reason why, as much as we want to say it, Riley. I mean, I hate bringing up Riley all the time, but
excuse me, sir. In this live stream, you should know this. We call him Tebow. That's a bad word. That's a no word, Andrew.
But I mean, Riley left at probably like the exact wrong time, because like a year later, I feel like if he had left a year earlier, I feel like we could have gotten some other quarterback in. Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. And I don't really want Jackson.
No, I'll take Dylan Gabriel over Bo Nix every day of the week.
I take Nix. I like Nix. He's not great, but I think he's better than Dylan. But that's the thing. I mean, after Riley left us high and dry, you were just so limited on who you could get, and
right.
and it sounds bad because it's OU, but it's like the second you have someone leave like that, nobody's running into a burning building until they know until after they know what's happened.
Right.
And I think Brent's done a fantastic job. The defense is night and day from where it was a year ago. We're looking better on that in general. I don't think we're we're not a championship team. So that's probably
correct.
why.
And we have to, not to interrupt you, that we have to keep that in mind. This is a Big 12 ceiling team.
Yeah,
it's okay to be making some of these mistakes. Later on, no.
Yeah,
right now, year 2, it's okay.
And that's why I just don't really. Dylan's going to do what Dylan's going to do. This is not a championship team. We're not I don't feel like we're going to waste a championship defense. We have much. If recruits pan out, we have much better defenses coming down the line. So it's kind of just one of those years where Dylan's going to do what Dylan's going to do. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, Dylan is. I mean, if I had to put him in a NFL talk, if anyone cares, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, That's about right. If
He can,
so long as he has the weapons and everything,
yeah.
he's fine. Like I said, if you really want to compare it, because it's like I always compare him to Landry. Landry's biggest weakness was he had a great arm and he could win big games, but the moment the pocket collapsed, he just fell apart. He was definitely deer in the headlights. Dylan's is the same problem. When it does not go according to script, that's where he
He
starts to
is.
panic and flail
Yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
now here's the thing I want to keep in mind with Dylan.
Yeah, but Dylan. To Dylan's credit, he hasn't turned the ball over as much as Landry.
Correct.
So
He
to
is
his credit,
going to
to his credit, he plays smart.
Correct. Dylan does not throw interceptions, and he knows when to run with it as best as to his ability to. The big problem I always will circle back to him is we always say he's not the sole factor, but don't you start to believe when there's starting to be correlations that he's always brought up as a part of the game? Like yesterday, he overthrew several times yet
He did.
again, which is like last year. You got to be making those throws, man. You're a junior,
He
or
did.
a senior, however, whatever it is.
Well, that's
You
it.
got to be making those throws.
Well, that's why he's not. That's why he's not an NFL prospect, and that's why he's not at another blue blood school.
Correct.
I mean, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Like when Riley left, it was a bad enough situation for us where we had benched Rattler. So Rattler had been booed, so that was just done. So I mean, Rattler was never coming back. And then Caleb,
Correct.
and then Caleb was always following Riley to USC. It was just
Correct.
It was just oh, we're gonna wait. I'll wait a good amount of time before I announce it, so people can't say I'm a bad guy. Because if he leaves before the bowl game, Caleb's a bad guy. It looks bad. After this, he just happened to make a decision after a coaching change to follow the guy who recruited him. How
Correct.
very
I don't.
strange. I don't fault him for that.
Right.
I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I don't fault him for that. If he doesn't want to stay here, it doesn't matter. It's just it's just admit the truth. Admit that and I get why he doesn't do it right now. But like, don't lie to me and say, "Oh yeah, OU is." We definitely would have come back to OU. I just entered the transfer portal to legally see my options. Yeah, no one. Yeah, you knew everyone. As soon as someone big enters the transfer portal, they've been talking to about 5 different teams at that point.
Right.
So
I do want to throw this in. Yeah. So I do want to throw this in as well. So getting past Dylan, because like I said, that is who's playing. I know people are going to be clamoring for throw Jackson Arnold. It's not happening.
No.
Let it go. But you are allowed to acknowledge and call him out on things like, yes, I'm not going to make fun of his shortcomings for like, oh, he's not a Jackson Arnold. No, that's silly. But you are allowed to say, my dude, you're a senior. You should be making wide open throws and not missing every single time. My dude, like, this isn't even on the O-line at this point because you had more than enough time yesterday.
He should be. Yeah, he should be, but at the same time, he is at the same time, he is who he is. There's not a whole lot that's going to change. There's a reason why he's a 3-star guy and not like a 4-star. I mean, I watched the Ole Miss game yesterday. Jackson Dart should have hit some of those throws too, and well, he's Jackson Dart. Yeah,
correct.
You just you are who you are sometimes, and that's who Dylan is. And look, you don't want to burn Jackson Arnold at this point. I know,
No.
I know people say, I know people want it, but once again, this is not a championship team. This isn't. I mean, if Dylan gets hurt, I hope he doesn't. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to Dylan, but like this just isn't a team that's going to be going up against even Alabama. I think Alabama we'd have issues with, even with all their issues. So it's not some. So we're just in one of those positions where let Dylan do what Dylan's going to do, let the offense do what the offense is going to do, and keep building. Get touches to the guys who matter, and they're going to be here long term. Still try to win the Big 12, definitely, because I think we can definitely win the Big 12. But
that absolutely should be our prerogative. That is the ceiling. Like, play at Big 12 level, you're good. So, I do want to address. So, like I said, you're allowed to criticize,
No, yeah.
But except where that's what he is, but it's not going to change. Now, the flip side, where we should have a lot of criticism for as well, that we have to talk about, dude, we do not have a running game at all. And I don't know what the issue is.
No, we don't, which is a big issue.
Correct.
I mean, Cincinnati is a good defense, so maybe once we get into other Big 12 games, we'll see. We'll have a chance, but like, I mean, Texas did a pretty decent job against. Texas did a good job against Alabama's run game. That worries me going forward because Dylan can make some plays, but I mean, I think Dylan maxes out at like 28, 35 points.
We're not going to will
max.
We're not going to will a game with Dylan.
No.
For it, you have to have that run game, and the problem is who's the running back? I mean, we saw Marcus Major have his extreme peaks and valleys yesterday. Yeah, he made some big runs, but then he struggled a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with Sawchuk. I'm assuming this is a lingering injury that they just did not foresee. I know people want Tawny Walker in, but maybe I don't know why he's not in. It could be a pride thing that they don't want to start someone who's a walk-on who's beating out everybody else. But like at this point, like this East-West shit's not got to end. Like it's not going to cut it. They have to figure something out for it. And Barnes has just not been that person either. And I think that's more of a lack of reps over the talent at that point. But then again, how much do we put blame on them when the O-line is struggling for the run game? I don't think the O-line is as bad protecting Dylan.
No.
But the O-line struggles with the run game hard, and I don't know what that answer is because I know why we do the East-West. I know they do it that way to keep the defense honest and maybe every so often to catch them off guard. I understand. I understand the theory behind all of that.
Yeah.
The execution, though, is you're getting lit up in the backfield, and it's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. You're wasting it down. Good job, guys. Like I understand I understand too. The East-West is to make up for not being able to run up the middle. I understand all that logic. I understand basic schemes.
I know you do.
But it's not working. So well, I don't know what that answer is for the run game.
Play better. I mean that's it. I mean, the offense has to play better. They have to get some push, and we have to create some more holes up front. Because unless we can create holes up front, I don't care who's in back. You have to be able to make a hole. Like, look, I know running back is probably an undervalued position everywhere now, but like, I mean, unless if your line can't make holes, Adrian Peterson could be back there and he'd be getting blown up. It does. I mean, he's still Adrian Peterson, so he'd still rush for like 70 yards. He could be able to break one, but I mean, the offensive line just isn't getting that enough of a push. I don't know if some of it is just Cincinnati, it's just Cincinnati, or if there's other stuff going on. But the run, that's a concern, and I mean, we'll learn more this week against Iowa State, I guess, but there's nothing.
You want to know one area, too, to add into the run of an area of concern? Because it's happened again, and I'm like, to me, at this point, you got to put him in practice and get through. It's Rame and snapping the ball when Dylan is not ready. This is not a trend anymore or a coincidence. This is a trend. You got to get him practice and get him, like, you do not snap the damn ball until Dylan does it. Like, I think this is like, what, the 5th or 6th time this has happened?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. It's just there's either mixed signals or something is too alike. I don't know what it is, but that's a problem, and that's one of those things that always comes to bite you at the worst possible point. That needs to stop. But other than Rame and Dylan getting on the same page, I don't know. You can't. I mean, you can't stop it. That's one of those things you can't. That's one of those things you can't stop.
Correct.
Like that's on the players. Some things are just on the players, and this is one of them. Get it together, guys. That's all I really. There's nothing else to really say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest too. If we're getting it together, time to bench Stogner, man. The Stogner transfer experiment is over. Dude needs to ride the bench. He is becoming a liability, so much so that yesterday he almost caused an interception because he pushed Cincinnati's defender into it. Like, just throw another wide receiver out there at this point. Like, I'm sorry, Stogner can't do it. And then again, like I said, that's why my issue with Major. Major can't block. I don't care what people have said. Major cannot block, and we saw that many times yesterday. For that, I don't want this to be a bitch fest either. Don't get me wrong. On it, there's just some very, very realistic concerns on the offense that I can't, outside of the wide receivers, I can't pick to a point where I'm like, even with their hiccups, they'll be fine. No, there's some major red flags. Tight end is a major red flag.
Yeah.
If you want to combine them together, depending on the game, running back and O-line, it is a red flag. There is no middle ground. And then Dylan, I would put in the middle of, what are you going to get? Are you going to get world beater, Dylan, or are you going to get very mediocre pedestrian?
Depends on the defense.
Correct.
Depends on the. It's what you expect. I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's only so many good things to really talk about. It's like, oh, the defense looks fantastic. Stutzman looks like he could be All-American potential. And
Correct.
the secondary's doing a fantastic job. Like, no, I mean, I don't want to turn this into like I don't want to be overly negative, but there's only so many good things I can say about the defense other than
you mean the offense.
And well, I mean, both of them. There's only so many good things I can say about both of them. Like, defense is moving fast. They're getting turnovers. Something which we didn't see that much
like
under
last
Grant.
year.
Last year. Guys definitely understand the scheme this year. Guys are not being lazy. Guys aren't being lazy this year with how they're hitting it. The defense is playing as a unit.
They're allowed to do that? Holy crap!
And I think that's the best thing I can say about the defense is it doesn't.
The defense is playing fantastic.
Even rotating guys, I feel like, once again, this is a unit. We're not, this isn't like, if we lose one guy on defense, it's going to fall apart.
Correct. It's not catastrophic. Now it's you lose him. It's like, we can't be losing these guys at this point. But the defense, like I said earlier, I'm satisfied with the defense. Now, that aside for it as a whole, the defense played absolutely well yesterday. Turnovers were great. They were putting pressure on Emery. They almost got him a couple times, but they just whiffed on the final tackle. Stutzman's a boss, man. Like, dude is going to be first team All-American. Kanik is okay, as far as I'm aware. He traveled with the team last night. Good. I think he just got hit hard. It just gave some, when Teddy and Gabe were joking with him on the sideline yesterday, I'm like, dude, you look metal with all the blood on your face and on your jersey. I think he's fine.
Hell yeah.
But you talked about rotation, like 30 guys on defense yesterday or something like that. It was ridiculous how many they threw out there, and kudos to them for that. It kept them fresh.
Yeah, and it's still, and you didn't, and like I said, you haven't lost anything. Now, the one thing I do have to mention, and I am going to, I do think this bears some mention.
Mm-hmm.
This offense is, unless the national media starts caring, a lot of things with this offense have to carry them, because, if a real organization would probably take a look into the Big 12 commissioner openly rooting against certain teams, especially when he controls the refs. But that's and I'm not even someone who's like big conspiracy theory. Refs are being told to do this. Most of the time, you can say he saw it, he feels the need to call it, or the refs just went over, like NFL a couple weeks ago. Week 1, Jawan Taylor kept jumping the snap, which they normally give you a small step in the NFL. You get like a half second before they start calling false starts, but how he just went over it, and then he's been flagged the last 2 weeks like crazy because of it. But the ref. You know what, guys, get used to it. I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing interesting to really say other than get used to DPI not being called against.
Oh,
them.
absolutely, and I kept that in mind. I said that yesterday when I uploaded the preview. I said, "Don't, guys, your calls are not going to go your way this year, so just don't even get mad." And I said, I'm like, I get it. That was totally pass interference. You can't get mad because the calls are not going to go our way this year. You are playing against them and the refs at the same time.
That said, I thought it'd be like 60-40 calls. I didn't think it would be just straight out 100% calls. But like I said, unless the national media notices or cares, it's not. There's not going to be any change this year.
I honestly don't think there's going to be a change. Period. I don't think they'll care enough for it.
No, that's right. Saying that yesterday, I said, you know what, guys, get ready for some explosive investigation 3 or 5 years from now, where some disgruntled Big 12 ref says, in the last year of Oklahoma, Texas, they told us to call my job was threatened if I didn't make so many calls against Oklahoma or Texas.
Yep. You and I both know the refs aren't going to show up for OU Texas. They're just going to let them be a complete fight club.
So get used to it. And as much as I hate that, there's really nothing we can do because unless the NCAA or national media care, which there just aren't enough Big 12 games on TV that the media is going to notice and care. Yep. Now maybe they go too far one day, or maybe someone in Vegas complains or starts saying something. But I'm just gonna say, man, if you bet on Oklahoma or Texas this year, do it at your own peril. Don't gamble anyway. But if you are gonna do it, just understand that the refs are going that the refs are going to be involved this year. Even more than others, like last couple of years haven't been. I'm not going to say they've been great with the refs because they really haven't. But the last couple of years, there's at least been it's been down to the normal 1 or 2 weird calls a game where it's like, okay, we're not getting this 50-50 call. Whereas this year it's just whereas this year, that's actually my biggest.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I think the only thing they're going to call is targeting, because that will actually make someone care. If Dylan or Quinn just gets destroyed and people are like, wait, how's that not targeting? That's the only time they'll care. So targeting. I'd be surprised if any targeting calls change. I don't think they will. But pretty much otherwise, expect everything else to not go our way. So just
like I said, I have no opinion on the refs or anything, just because I know it's not going to go our way for it. But yes, OU does beat Cincinnati. We get bumped up a couple spots to number 14 in the AP poll today. So for OU, you're sitting good. You've got Iowa State this week. Iowa State's going to be pretty much a tune-up game for it as you get ready for Texas, because Iowa State is just going to be outmatched.
Okay. I was actually happy Iowa State put up 34 points yesterday.
Because it was against the Pokes.
Well, not just that. I think it helps keeps us honest. It's really easy just for anyone.
They won't get complacent.
Yeah, it's really easy when it's like, oh, this team has only scored 6 points the last 2 weeks. We don't have to worry. They just don't have any offensive skill. At the very least, it shows they are capable of doing it if you play bad defense. So, thanks, Gundy. Thanks. I'll thank you for that.
Speaking of Gundy, we can roll into kind of next topic and stuff too. Kind of just going around the rest of the week's games and stuff as well. So let's kind of start with that, and I'll reverse the order a little bit for it. But I'm gonna be honest. Who's gonna challenge the Big 12? Let's be honest. This week, I think all the new teams that thought they were just gonna walk in and roll the Big 12, got a big wake up call as they all lost, I think, by double digits.
Yeah, they all did.
Like they got destroyed. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
they got destroyed, but they got a welcome to the Big 12. All
BYU,
4 of you.
BYU kept it pretty close. I'd say Cincinnati did well. I'd say Cincinnati did well too. I'm not going to say the same for Houston, and I'm not going to say the same for Central Florida. Those two, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, these teams are as happy to be part of a quote unquote major conference. So it's not like it's not like they overly care about just 1 week. But yeah, just looking at it, Houston. Oh no, sorry, Houston won. No, Houston won. They beat
No,
Sam
Houston
Houston.
lost.
No, Houston won.
Yeah, but they had their Big 12 opener a couple weeks back.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They did last week. Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that where they lost to TCU. But yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah,
Anyway,
but I mean, BYU lost. BYU lost to 3-0 lost to undefeated Kansas, which yeah, that's the third undefeated Big 12 team.
so
OU,
hey,
Texas, and
well,
Kansas.
I do want to mention something with the refs. Don't you think it's kind of funny that if it is a true conspiracy that Yomark really wants OU and Texas to get screwed? Does he not realize that the Big 12 is so historically bad this year right now that the only option for you to actually get into the playoff to get that sweet playoff money is OU and Texas? So you're basically what's the saying?
Cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Spite your face. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah, and that's fair. I thought Kansas State would be better, but they lost to Missouri last second. And look, man, as much as we hate to say it, we could be looking. Big 12 could be looking at a situation again this year where it might even be worse because one the SEC champ is going. That's I'm no not even blinking on that.
Correct.
Florida State, they got by Clemson. They still have some tough games, but Florida State could easily get one loss, or Zeke could easily just be a one-loss ACC champ. Hey, Florida State, you're in.
Yep.
The Big Ten has Ohio State, Michigan, and I'll say and Penn State because why not? Notre Dame, if they don't lose again, I mean, a last-second loss to Ohio State, they put them in, and the Pac, I feel like the Pac's going to screw itself over at some point, but
Yeah.
the Pac is still. But right now, they're undeniably better than the Big 12. There's
Oh,
no
absolutely.
there's no question about that. And so right now, if you take away OU Texas, you're betting can Kansas hold on? No, probably not. TCU, people aren't going to believe in people just aren't going to believe in TCU unless there's no other option.
Correct.
Tech is Tech no. West Virginia no. Oklahoma State is down. Nobody likes Iowa State. Houston ain't it. I mean, so many of these teams aren't even ranked. It's like no, some of these teams aren't ranked.
Well, and
Baylor, no. UCF, no. Kansas State was your best hope, and Kansas State could work it. Kansas State could work their way back, but it's going to be a long, hard road for them. And once again, and that's the biggest issue is you have a lot of teams you got to get through and you have to have fail. Like outside of OU in Texas, there's no team who I think could go undefeated in the Big 12 and be like, oh, there's your playoff spot.
right.
There's
Well, and
there isn't.
well, and look at the Big 12 as a whole too, because it's like there is some clear separation of OU Texas and then oh my gosh, everybody else, and then oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
bad can y'all get? There are teams that are fighting for last place.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's one of them. They are finally discovering when the players hate your head coach politics, NIL is a thing, and that when all the key linchpin players of your team transfer,
Yeah.
they are literally looking at a potential 2-10 season.
Definitely.
It's not just their offensive coordinator. This is a complete dumpster fire. They are looking at a losing season, and they can't get rid of Gundy because sucks to be you guys that you wrote him in a perpetual $25 million buyout. Don't be dumbasses.
I mean, never. I mean, yeah. I mean, even Saban, I wouldn't do that for. But yeah,
No,
Gundy
a dumbass.
is.
Well, Gundy's smart because he's grifting.
Gundy can come back, but that buyout is so bad. It's kind of like they're stuck with him, and maybe someone sits him down in the off season. But I'm also going to tell you guys this: even with NIL, people aren't going to want to go to Stillwater if you have a bad year. This is 100% one of those. The only way Gundy is going to work his way out of it is by recruiting or finding hidden gems.
Yep.
And I just don't know that he has. I just don't know he has the will to do that anymore. Maybe he'll surprise me. Maybe he
You mean
will.
the thing
But
that he hasn't done for many years now? Recruit?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, that's one of the biggest issues the Big 12 has faced. It's that
Yeah.
no matter how many teams they add, no matter what they say, uh, they faced a major recruiting deficiency. Like, look, I don't like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss gets overrated. I think they're a very middle of the road team. I don't think I never buy into Ole Miss. Ole Miss recruits better than the Big 12. Ole Miss recruits better than
Yeah.
everyone in the Big 12.
Well, they
That
have Lane Kiffin though. Lane Kiffin does recruit well.
Yeah, but even with Lane, even in the SEC, like this last week, this was Lane's big chance. This is one of the worst positions Alabama's been in a while. You have a quarterback with happy feet. This was your chance to take advantage. You had Jackson Dart and just a major egg for Kiffin.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. He has his egg for the Egg Bowl now. But
I mean,
there you go.
but it's still a bad look for the Big 12 though, because it's
Yeah,
like
it is.
Oklahoma
It is.
State, Iowa State, Houston, and Baylor are bad. They are terror bad right now. You throw Texas Tech in there as well, like they're bad.
Yeah,
Um,
they're bad.
I would say there's teams that are on the cusp of they're going to be middle of the road, or they're going to fall off the cliff, and I think that's BYU, West Virginia, UCF, and Cincinnati. I think they're on the there. We're going to figure out who they are really fast. I think Cincinnati is going to be more in the upper echelon of the Big 12. I think BYU, West Virginia, and UCF are only a matter of time.
I don't think West Virginia is that good. But looking at them,
They're falling forward.
I mean, they're probably going to. I mean, they have 3 wins right now. They're probably losing to TCU. Houston, they can probably win. They can win OK State. They can win Central Florida. Maybe BYU. They're losing to OU. They can beat Baylor. Cincinnati's a toss-up. I mean, this could be an 8. This could be an 8-win West Virginia team.
Neil Brown's going to be there from his burning hot seat to just a hot seat at that point.
If everything works right for West Virginia, 8-4 is doable. 8-4 is that speaks more about the Big 12. Now, as we go through, we'll learn some stuff. I could see West Virginia definitely falling off, but they have 3 wins already. I just don't see how they don't get at least 6-6. I'd be very surprised.
You'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked if they can't get at least 6 wins. But hey, we will see. That's the Neil Brown experience.
Yeah, well, and if we're referring to it, I would say the team that we don't know enough about that we thought we kind of did, but it may be like they could be a 7-5 team is TCU. I think they're either going to be just bowl eligible or they're going to be like a 5-7. We don't know about them just yet, just because they took care of SMU yesterday, and that's to me that's a good little measuring stick for them at the moment. But we still don't know. But then you have the other teams. There's only 3, not including OU, who are actually probably going to be an 8 or 9 win team. Kansas, Kansas State, Texas.
It's Yeah, no, there's a lot of there's just a lot of bad in the Big 12 right now, and
Yeah.
as much as they want to try and turn into a basketball conference, best of luck, guys. Best of luck, because it's just gonna get worse for Tech. They lost their quarterback. I think he's gone for a while. I might be wrong though.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even hear that.
I
Did
let me double check. I know he was injured. Let me just check really quick.
he got hurt then? But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
no,
did.
it was
Yeah.
that, and like I said, it was just say who's going to challenge them because right now half the league. My running joke yesterday when it was really bad in the first half was, "Hi, I'm the Oklahoma defense. I play like a champion. Hi, I'm the Oklahoma offense, and my favorite flavor of glue is Elmer's because at least they're undefeated, so they get strawberry flavored Elmer's." But it was bad. That's the Big 12 in a nutshell right now.
Yeah,
There are
that's
some who are eating paste and some who are not. Boy,
yeah,
some of them are eating paste. But what's funny is at least with some of them, like
yeah.
what you're expected to get. Some of them, like, yeah,
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I was right. He broke his fibula against West Virginia. So
yeah,
yeah, he's done. He's done. Best of luck to him.
yep.
Rest of the league. Big day yesterday. It was a really big day yesterday.
Yeah, I want to explore the last ones before we jump into your perfect rant that I'm
Yes,
looking forward
yes.
to. So first off, I had a couple with it. First off, Yodi Hootie, oh, there was a pause because Prince actually paused on his march to 325 or 350 or whatever because couldn't score a touchdown or any points against Penn State. Like that was abysmal. Like
That's
gonna hurt his chances.
that wasn't surprising. It's
Oh,
Penn
I think
State.
it's absolutely surprising.
Penn State's good. Penn State's good, and I'm not surprised with what happened with. I'm not surprised what happened with them yesterday. They were in Penn State. I was I was very much. I don't know, man. If you can win eight, if you consistently win 8 games a year, you have a lifetime contract, which is
But
where
his contract says if he does not get there, he's fired.
I know. I meant for Kirk, not Brian, but I meant for Kirk. Yeah,
Okay.
I meant for Kirk, not Brian. But yeah, I mean Brian's gonna be gone. It's maybe he does. Maybe they work something out. I mean, I could definitely see. I mean, you could always rework a contract. Given he's the coach's son, if he gets like 320 and they only had 2 losses, he'd be safe. But yeah, but I mean, Iowa's Iowa. There's nothing interesting to say about them. It's like
Yeah.
corn. It's just corn, but you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one from yesterday that, I get it, but refs, you got to do your job. Like I give props to JMU having the cell phone saying he was out. We can't look at that. He was out. I'm sorry, refs, do your job. Like
Which
you have one job.
which game was that?
It was the James Madison game.
Oh
There was
yeah,
controversy
I didn't see. I
about
didn't
it.
see that. No.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Oh, you're not supposed to have cell phones on the field. Do your job, ref. I'm sorry. This is why I have no sympathy, and it's different sport about baseball and having some instant replay for the sole fact like they're getting it wrong too much to the point where it's not beyond it's human error. It's egregious. This is egregious. So wanted to mention that. I'm glad Dion got humbled yesterday.
I mean, Dion's biggest problem is
Dion.
it's that look. You can say some of it is the media hyping them up. Like, I mean, look, I'm just saying it. If I'm one of like Fox's broadcasts, if I'm one of the schools working with Fox, this deal is getting worse and worse because I get there in ratings. I get everything. Going to Boulder 3 out of 5 weeks is ridiculous,
Because they
especially
don't have anything else.
especially when Colorado's not ranked. It's ridiculous. I understand that, but that's why you just suck it up one week and you go to some Big Ten school. Like that's what Game Day does. Game Day,
Well,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Let me finish. Game Day didn't.
I see what you're saying.
Game Day doesn't. Game Day didn't have Ohio State, Notre Dame, or ESPN didn't. That's NBC, and they still went to it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying 3 times in 5 weeks is a bit much. Like, look, nobody cares if game day goes to Austin twice. If it's Alabama Texas is obviously the big game of the week, and then TCU is like a top 10 team, and
Yeah.
this is a great and this is the best matchup of the week. Okay, we'll go there. Nobody cares then. But like that's why I prefer game day because at least game day will at least if it's a bad week, game day will go to some FCS school where it's like, oh wow, all this stuff sucks. Let's go to Appalachian State. It's
Yeah.
I'm just saying I get it. I get Dion brings in ratings. I get Dion talks a lot. I get that Dion talks a lot of stuff. But like man, at least try. At least try and go places so you can so you can have like a good reputation on campuses. Because like, look, I'll say this here, like, college game day means something. When college game day comes to your when college, like they've never been to Durham before because Duke is bad.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's still ranked. They're still top 15. Duke is top 20. They're taking the advantage and going to Durham.
Yep.
Why not? It's fun. College and to me that's the joy of college football. College football is supposed to be a wide-ranging sport. It's across the country. It's about finding out it's about finding out different stuff you may have not known about schools because they just don't get on there that often. Like
Right.
seeing the Appalachian State students go crazy for when game day was there, which which if you told me in college that Appalachian State would ever actually matter, I'd say you're lying to me. Why are you
Yeah.
doing that? Get away from me. But so I just think I get it's a ratings thing, but I think it also shows that you're very insecure about your pregame show as opposed to ESPN.
I don't disagree with you.
It's
It,
but getting back to Dion, he's just paying a big target on their back. Although I do give him like a 2% chance to beat USC next week.
only because USC doesn't have a defense.
Only because look. This would be a very close Lincoln Riley type game. It's an 11 a.m. start, so 10 o'clock Boulder. You have you have a big game coming up in 2 weeks that they might be looking forward to. Colorado looked horrible again. Colorado just looked horrible. There's no reason USC shouldn't hang half 100 on them, and
Yeah.
yet that it's just
It'll be like a 60-40 game. Like that's what it's going to be.
If it's going to be if Colorado's going to win that game, it's going to be like the Kansas game. Once again, I mean the 2021 Kansas OU. I'd still be surprised if that happened, but I'm just saying that it has all the telltale signs of this could be a game USC has to spend more energy on than they need to.
Yeah. Well, we can say Oregon did fail though because their second string just allowed Colorado to score.
They still did good. Yeah, they still did a good job. Good job. I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone. That's why I say that's the problem. The thing is, it's not Dion who's paying off these bills. It's who's paying off the checks. Like Dion writes a lot of big checks. His players are the ones who have to cash them.
Yeah.
And that's my and honestly that's always my issue with Dion. It's more it's not just if Dion was just saying dumb stuff and he was the one who had to take the egg on his face, fine. But he's put such a big target on Colorado that that's the one reason why I think USC will hang half 100 because even Riley I don't think is going to look past Colorado because Dion's put enough of a bullet on them. Dion's put such a giant target on their back, which it shouldn't be. I mean, look, it's kind of sad that we're changing the narrative here. Colorado winning 3 games is great for them. That's a great job, given how untalented this team was. I think they could easily win a 4th game. maybe 5. I don't think anything else because of the talent level, and I think eventually you get tired, and and as time goes on, if you don't put enough wrinkles in your offense or defense, people start to catch on, and the Pac-12 is talented enough where it's not the easiest thing in the world for you.
Right.
But yeah, so it does make me sad because we will look at this. People are gonna say if they have 4 wins, oh, this was a major failure for Colorado. When really, I view it as a success in building. But I mean, some of it's also we don't know what Dion's long-term plans are. Is he going to be
Right.
around? Does he want to be around for 5 years? Is he going to leave after his kids leave? Is he go? Is will another school eventually call? I don't know. I don't know. And that's what makes Colorado such a major question mark this year and going forward. Most of the time,
Especially when you know that there's probably going to be some head coaching jobs opening up in the NFL probably here soon. But Swiggy, we've danced around it long enough because I think the audience is ready.
Oh boy.
Ohio State, Notre Dame. First off, it was a good game.
It
was old school 2000s feel slobber knocker game.
Yeah.
I was surprised driving home from D&D last night that it was still 0-0. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting. But it was good until Notre Dame decided they didn't want to win anymore. No, we did our best. Ohio State, you can have it.
Yeah.
And boy, they gave it to them.
If you're not aware, Notre Dame, the last 2 plays of the game, only had 10 men on the field.
Because they were scared to get flagged. What in what right mind would you be scared to get flagged? And one of those came off of a timeout. That's the funnier part.
That's right. And even then, you had plenty of time. Even then, the one that came off a timeout, you had a chance to fix.
Which is funny because Notre Dame shouldn't have even called that timeout.
No, they
because
shouldn't
that timeout only benefited Ohio State. And I'm not talking about the 10 men. It caused the momentum to change. Not to mention, run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the clock out. Run the ball, guys.
Well,
they didn't.
I understood it. They were Ohio State did not. Ohio State made 3 big plays to win. Ohio State did 3 things to win that game.
Well, they did 4 because one of them was Notre Dame playing prevent the win defense and taking it very literally.
This is They had 1 good drive, which was their last drive. They had 1 great run, which was their touchdown run, and their defensive line was horrible all night. Gave Sam plenty of time. They made when they sacked him. They made that 1 play that pushed Notre Dame back just enough, and that they tried another pass that got tipped. So Ohio State was the more talented team, but watching it, Ohio State was not the better team last night. The thing is, they have enough wide receivers. It might not matter because they have a 6-head. Their wide receiver core is like a 6-headed hydra. It's hard, so that might not be enough. But Ohio State did not play that well, and they just didn't. They got away with it. Good for them. They got away with it. But that was not. But I did not come away from that thinking. I thought more of Florida State's win over Clemson when Clemson really screwed up. Clemson screwed up. They made mistakes. They did, but okay. But I respect you if you fight back over adversity. You made some big plays, and as much as we're down on Clemson, Clemson's still a decent team. I thought a lot more of other teams last night. Ohio State, I thought they did the bare minimum and passed.
Yeah. I would say with Ohio State, here's the thing, and I know, first off, Notre Dame, misery, handshake. You can't think of anything else besides misery. They took Georgia's hope, and they're hanging out with Texas A&M with some misery.
No, it's misery.
I will stand by my Ohio State definitely stole one last night. I have no shame in saying that. They absolutely stole one. That said, I know there are a lot of Notre Dame fans last night saying we were the better team. yes, you were the better team last night. We were more talented. Now let's hold up because no, we're not the more talented team.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys.
You played better. It sucks you lost, but
yep.
I would be.
My dad says any given day. The problem is
Yep.
they gave the ball away last. There was too many mistakes in the last game.
Yep.
And I do blame Freeman for complete incompetence on that.
Oh yeah.
At the same time,
Freeman deserves a lot. Freeman deserves. I didn't think
flag.
all of it. I didn't think all of his calls were bad. I thought going for another 2 4th and 1s was fair. He almost got the one. The other one blew up in his face, but it was still a better call than Ryan Day's 4th and whatever call that should have cost him the game.
Correct.
But it's time we talk about something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about this here. Now I want to say this here. For those of you who don't always know, I'm an Ohio State fan. I grew up in Northeast Ohio. I like Ohio State Buckeyes. My favorite championship team of all time is the 2002 Ohio State Buckeyes that gritted their way to a national championship over Miami.
You just like that team because it just grinds Miami's gears. Let's just be honest.
To be clear, I want to be clear. I say this as someone who was a fan of Ohio State. So take for that what you will.
Correct. So I want to say this as well, too, that you're allowed to root for the team in the state you grew up in. You're allowed to root for your undergrad, and you're allowed to kind of root for any team that you go to school at.
Oh, yeah.
You're allowed to root for Ohio State. You're allowed to root for OU because you went and got your degree from OU.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not like a friend of mine who only went to OU, but I'm a hypocrite saying it, don't get me wrong, but they grew up in Alabama, and then they root for the Yankees without any connection to the Yankees. I'm like,
OU's number one. As far as OU is number one. But I want to be clear. So I understand this. I understand coaches at the collegiate level will always say, nobody believes in us. We're going to be that blue collar, lunch pail, let's go to work attitude. Dan Lanning did it to help motivate Oregon against Colorado. Kirby Smart, where you had Georgia players saying, no one gave us a chance to win the championship this year, despite the fact Georgia was ranked number one all of last season.
Yep.
So to be clear,
it's funny when they say it, though.
Yeah, it's funny when they say it, but I mostly roll my eyes.
Correct. Let's add this in too. If Dion says that, fair game, because no one had faith that Colorado was going to make a bowl game. Fair enough.
Fair.
Oh, but Ohio State.
No,
please.
Let me get to this.
My God, my dude, you're the number 2 program in the past 40 years.
Yeah, let me get.
No one's not arguing like you're against the world. No. Is against the world.
Let me get to this. And I didn't mind this statement before the game. Ryan Day, we've prepared for this all year. Our guys had a great couple days of preparation. Quite honestly, we've had to listen to some people over the past 48 hours make a lot of comments about this team. We've heard it. It's time to go play the game. You know what? That's fine. I rolled my eyes at that because, I mean, look, honestly, I think Ryan Day found my burner account. I'm very critical of Ryan Day. I want to say this here. After the game, he called out, of all people, Lou Holtz. Now, Josh, what year is this?
It is the year of our Lord, 2023.
Lou Holtz is 86 years old, is no longer a regular contributor for ESPN. He said some things on the Pat McAfee show. And you know what? Calling out Lou Holtz in 2023 is the saddest, most weak coach thing I have ever heard of. I'm sorry. I know some people get hyped about it. I know people are like, oh, it's Ohio against the world. Yeah, you guys have got Ohio State gets preferential treatment. They got it last year when they made the playoffs because they thought they'd be good against Georgia. They thought they would, and they thought they would be able to do it. But this really grinds my gears about it. Not just that. It's like, okay, we're insulting Lou Holtz, and we're going to keep insulting Lou Holtz, a guy whose football opinion hasn't mattered in over 15 years. And quite frankly, no one on that team was alive when he was coaching South Carolina. Lou Holtz, maybe a few people were because of COVID rules and everything, but Lou Holtz last coached in 2004. Yeah. Ask yourself a question. Why do you care what Lou Holtz is saying, especially a guy who's like super Notre Dame? not like a normal commentator, but you know what? I might be okay if TCU had pulled off the upset against Georgia. I would have been okay with their coach calling someone out. If if they got after Michigan, I'm not even blinking. You are a blue blood school. I am sorry. I'm sorry. When did it become? Oh, we have to hype ourselves this much to beat Notre Dame. You should expect to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame had Sam Hartwell at quarterback. This is not some insanely great Notre Dame team that's kind of like if you have to hype yourself up. You're a blue blood. Act like one. You don't go and say stuff like that. Like, did you hear like you don't hear Saban going off like that. You didn't hear Kirby Smart go off and say, screw all the people who picked Bama against us. No. You have to win. If you're a blue blood, you expect to win certain games. And look, here's the thing. To Ryan Day's credit, he has beaten Notre Dame twice. Both times, very close games. Both times, they almost gave it away. You have one playoff win against Clemson. You blew it against Georgia last year. You've beaten Michigan once. You should not be talking to anyone about nobody believes in us. You want to know why people don't believe in you? You don't beat Michigan. You do not win in the playoffs. Start doing that. Do that, and you know what? Act like a freaking blue blood. I would say the exact same thing if Brent came out and called out someone for like, oh, they didn't pick us against Oklahoma State, or oh, they didn't pick us against Texas. No, you don't do that. I expect to beat Texas. I may have realistic opinions about it, but beating Texas should be the expectation. The second you start acting like, oh, we have Notre Dame is better than us, we have to get hyped up for this, or calling people out, that is not blue blood behavior. You should expect to beat Notre Dame. You should expect to beat Michigan. If you do not make the playoff, it is a major disappointment. And hey, I think they might not make the playoff. Penn State looks good. They're in Purdue, who's given Ohio State problems before. They still have to beat Michigan. Look, if Ohio State wins the national championship this year, I will eat all these words. I will say I was wrong about Day. His motivation tactics were correct. But right now, congrats. You've done the bare minimum. You beat Notre Dame on the last play of the game. I'm clapping. Congrats. You did what's expected of you. Now go win a national championship and then we'll talk. Just disgusting behavior. Disgusting. I'm done now, so go on. Josh, you still there? I cannot hear you if you're talking. No, I still can't hear you. Nope, sorry, Josh. Still can't hear you. Nope. We lost Josh. Nope, still can't hear you. Nope, still nothing. Nah, I got nothing, Josh. I just, yeah. I don't know what's going on with. I do not know what's going on with Josh's heads. I don't know what's going on with Josh here. We'll give him a second. Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. So for those still listening, that's just. I just have strong feelings on it. Don't see Norville going to do it. Oh, I can hear you again. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? That's weird. I have no idea what
That's
happened.
weird. Yeah.
The only thing I want to say on the Lou Holtz thing is I don't care for Lou Holtz. It's just
No, I don't care about Lou Holtz either.
To me, it's like if they want to do that, more power to them.
Yeah,
it's in the sense of I look at it as he was trash talking a Notre Dame fan who came at him. Cool, whatever.
You're blue.
That's what's going to happen.
You're blue. You're blue.
But it's also silly
Don't
because it's like it's Lou Holtz, dude. It's an almost 90-year-old person. Like, what did he say to piss him off? Essentially, like, did he just get that offended?
He called Ohio State soft, which given their defensive line, he wasn't wrong. Like,
yeah.
Man, and that's just like, and I'm not gonna get going again because you guys heard me rant enough. But that's more my issue with it. It's WWE. It's NBA style trash talk. And you know what? You're not even talking about a guy who's mattered in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You're talking about an old commentator, and even his age doesn't matter. Like, if Spurrier was saying, if Spurrier was saying something, if you call that Steve Spurrier, I'd be saying the same thing. Because like Spurrier hasn't mattered for years. And at a certain point, look, you're a blue blood. You have to act like one. You can't just be like, oh yeah, we did this. Screw you. It's like, screw you, Lou Holtz. We showed you. Yeah, congrats. You showed Lou Holtz that you can win on the last play of a game when there are 10 men on the field. Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. Congrats. You proved something. But you know what? He hasn't won the Big Ten title the last 2 years. He hasn't won anything since COVID. And I just don't care that you beat Alabama during COVID. I don't. To me, that's not something that really shows it. So prove it to me this year. Beat Michigan, please. Like I said, if he beats Michigan, you know what? If he even goes and wins a playoff game against Georgia or something, I will step back. Yeah. I'll step back. But I'm like, but if beating Notre Dame 17-14 is your signature win when you looked like that last night, that's a problem.
They shouldn't be beating their chest about it, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Don't beat your chest. That's my problem. That's my problem. So
yeah, but hey, that's a good point to wrap up, buddy. I want to thank Swiggy for joining us tonight as we recap the OU Cincinnati post game as well as the Week 4 wrap up. Be sure everybody to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and hit the bell. When we upload a video. Be sure, guys, to spread the channel to other people. I like interacting in the chat with people as we do live streams or like in the comments of YouTube. I enjoy the community and it helps the channel grow. As well as, guys, watch some of the old videos as well. They're great background noise and it helps raise the numbers up. So that way more people hear about the channel because it starts pushing it for like post videos of other people's like, we recommend this OU channel for you. So please do that. Again, comment, rate, subscribe. We'll be back Wednesday, guys, for our pregame for Iowa State. Again, it's probably going to be only about an hour show just because there's not going to be probably a whole lot to talk about with it. But again, guys, thanks for joining tonight.
Josh, you've jinxed us. Why have you done that?
Because the trend right now has been blowout, close, blowout, close, blowout. So, guys, Boomer Sooner, thanks y'all again for joining. There's only one. See y'all Wednesday.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.